Thus, I owe a debt of gratitude to my colleagues who, at the most crucial hour, managed to rise above selfish interest and ambition to help me steer the Senate through rough waters in the last 4.5 years that I served as Senate President. Thank you, my colleagues, for your forbearance. May God bless you all. And may God bless the Senate. Above all, may God bless our country and our people. I carry the brunt of 4 of my colleagues' anger and displeasure over not receiving what they felt they were entitled to as their share of the savings of the Senate. No one bothered nor cared that I, too, did not receive the same amount that I have approved for the rest. I suffered the anger of the public as the media branded all that I had authorized for release to the senators' offices last December as my personal cash gifts. No matter how hard I tried to explain the nature of these disbursements from the Senate's coffers and from my own office's savings. Senator Lacson, as chairman of the Committee on Accounts, and I took the position that if we were to be sensitive to the public pulse, and with the agreement of both houses of Congress, we should revert to the old system of liquidating and accounting for each centavo of public money entrusted to us. Save for a few, my colleagues chose to keep their distance and silence as I was publicly pilloried and crucified. But in the privacy of our caucuses, in hushed tones or whispers, many of them expressed grave concern about the repercussions of these developments on the operations of their own offices and their own budgetary allocations. The controversy did not end with the maintenance and other operating expenses or with the budget of the office of the Senate President. The public's attention turned to the huge budget allocated for the numerous congressional oversight committees, which were also not my own creation or invention. They were created either by law or by resolution of the Senate. The budgets for these committees are charged against the Senate's budget. But the truth is that these committees operate and spend funds autonomously. Yet I was left alone to explain as the minority floor leader questioned the increasing budget of the Senate from the time I assumed the Senate presidency in November 2008. Senator Trillanes, as chairman of the Finance Committee, knows only too well how the apportionment of chairmanships over these oversight committees can be a real headache for any Senate president. He was the first one to call my attention to it at the beginning of this Congress. Next was Senator Pia Cayetano, who offered to review and study the rationalization of these preponderant oversight committees. I welcomed her offer to help, but I did not get any recommendation from her. I placed Senators Trillanes and Lacson in charge of the review because of all the numerous requests for budget augmentation that I was receiving. With the way the senators now view the chairmanships over these oversight committees as a form of entitlement, it was impossible for me to satisfy everyone. Perhaps in due time, Senator Dillon will finally find the solution that will adequately satisfy the members of this chamber. More importantly, I hope that such a solution will correct a rather unwieldy situation that has earned the criticism and disgust of the people. As I said when I made the motion to declare this position vacant a few months ago, I did not wish to endanger the trust that the public has reposed upon the Senate as an institution just because of the viciousness and self-righteousness of some people. They were only against me, after all. But in their desire to undermine me, they invariably brought the other members of the Senate and the image of the Senate itself to disrepute. After all that howl and rage, I now ask the members of the Senate, must all these issues of propriety, transparency, and accountability be forgotten? Have all these issues suddenly become irrelevant? Can we just, quote, move on, unquote, as they say, and just bury these issues in the dustbin of the Philippine Senate's history? My answer is no. No. The Senate neither begins nor ends with Juan Ponce Enrile. This chamber has its own honor to uphold, and its institutional integrity, in the end, means more to the people of this country than all of us combined. My entire record as a public servant, my performance as a senator of the Republic, and my conduct as Senate President is all up for the nation to judge, whether fairly or unfairly. But now that the election noise has quieted down, I lay claim to nothing more than the right to vindicate my solid name. I will leave each of my colleagues to explain directly to the people who elected them their respective positions on these issues, and to account for their own budgets, as I have always been ready to account for my own. I can no longer speak for them. I refuse to be anyone's scapegoat and everyone's whipping boy. I refuse to let any senator drag my name down to the gutter with her. I refuse to stand by idly when no less than the son of my former partner, the late Senator Renato L. Cayetano, would dare accuse me of being a thief or a scoundrel. I refuse to lend my hard-earned name as a convenient refuge to those who cannot face the public and defend their own honor. I refuse to allow anybody, whether in or out of this hall, of the halls of this chamber, to freely trample upon the name that my late father Alfonso Ponce Enrile had so kindly allowed me to carry with pride. I do not need nor intend to use the powers, perquisites, and trappings of the Senate presidency just to cling to it or to secure this position for myself when the 16th Congress opens in July. Neither do I intend to use this position to influence or impede in any way the conduct by the Commission on Audit of a no-holds-barred audit of the Senate's and the Senators' budgets and expenditures. Let us all be men and women worthy of being called, quote, honorable senators, unquote, and let the chips fall where they may. And so, as a matter of personal honor and dignity, I hereby irrevocably resign as Senate President. With the constantly shifting political tides, to muster the support of the majority of your colleagues, and to maintain that support long enough to achieve something for the people who elected us into office is quite a feat in itself.